everyone, it's Lisa Rosser with the Value of a Veteran, and I want to welcome you to Ask the Military Recruiting Expert Monday. If you follow the hashtag Ask the Military Recruiting Expert Monday, you'll see all the past sessions that I've posted here. These are short videos, less than 10 minutes, answering one or two questions that I've received in the past from different recruiters or diversity professionals, things that they want a little bit more clarity on regarding military recruiting, or just things they've always been curious about and didn't know who else to ask these types of questions. So I'm happy to give this kind of advice to our recruiters and diversity professionals. So this question is around, you're at a career fair, let's say, or a networking event, and you're talking to a service member, and when you ask them what they do or what they did in the military, and they give you an answer, and you're just like, don't even know what you just said. I don't understand that. Nothing about what you said makes any sense to me. If they said that they were an x-ray technician, then you might have a reasonable understanding of what an x-ray technician does. And especially if you're hiring for healthcare, you would definitely know what that meant. But what if they told you that they were a Patriot Launching Station Enhanced Operator Maintainer? Well, I don't know what that is. What is, and so this is my advice to you, is number one, yeah, you're going to have to get curious. You're going to just start to ask questions like, wow, I didn't understand anything that you just said. Why don't you break that down for me a little bit and let me see if there's any advice that I can offer you about that. So that would be step one, is just to get curious and start asking some questions. So, what's a Patriot Launcher Enhanced Operator Maintainer? What does Patriot mean? And they'll tell you, well, this is a very advanced air defense weapons system, and these gigantic missiles are on the back of basically a tractor trailer, and it's my job to transport that missile system and then hook it up and connect it to all the electronics boards that it needs to be connected to, and then I'm doing a little bit of control on the inside to make sure that it's all tested and prepared to fire off in the event that it needs to be fired off. And you're like, wow, that is incredible. Don't think, oh, well, we don't have missile systems. We don't have a need for anyone with that particular skill set, because if that's what you took away from that description, you missed out on a whole bunch. They just said that they're driving the equivalent of a tractor trailer with a large missile on the back, so they know driving, large pieces of equipment. They understand safety, because you have to. You don't want that missile system to fall off of the back of the trailer. That would be a disaster. You understand, he mentioned hooking it up to electronics panels and things like that, so someone who knows a little bit about the electronics systems and proper testing and implementation of electronic systems. And there's a variety of other things that they might know. But if you only focused on the fact that they said missile systems, then you missed out on that. So yeah, asking questions is going to get you a little bit more detail than just kind of taking it at face value, or looking at the resume and reading it and going, well, I don't know what that is, so I'm moving on to the next thing because I'm not going to take the time to learn. Another thing that you could do in that particular case is like, okay, and once they've given you a little bit of a description, you're like, wow, okay, that sounds really interesting. Let's look that up. Where's a good place I can go to look up information about your particular occupation? Well, there's two places actually that I would recommend that you look up. And you could do this, again, if you've got that magic phone in your pocket with access to the internet, you can do this right on the fly while you're talking to them. So the first place I would send you is ONET. So ONET is an occupational handbook online. It's a completely free resource. It's owned by the Department of Labor. So it's onetonline.gov, I believe. If not gov, it's .org. So ONET online, just type in ONET, you'll find it. And it has a directory, basically, or a big database of pretty much every occupation that there is in the United States. And there's also a military crosswalk. So if they said Patriot Launching Station Enhanced Operator Maintainer, you can go to the crosswalk feature and you can either type that in, or if they have they tell you what their occupational code is, you just type in the occupational code. And it will come up and it will confirm, yeah, that's Patriot Launching Station Enhanced Operator Maintainer. And then it's going to list a whole bunch of civilian jobs underneath it. And it's going to, at first, again, to the untrained eye, it's going to look like, well, that's a whole bunch of different jobs. There's, missile specialist, there's electronics repair, there's truck driver, there's bus driver, there's, emergency management and safety procedures and all kinds of different jobs. And you're like scratching your head, well, what, which one is it? What ONET's trying to tell you is all of those. If you take all of those civilian positions and mash it into one, that's what that kid does for the military. So great. Look down that list, and if there's anything there that resonates with you, like, okay, well, I don't need the the missile systems person, I don't need the bus driver or the truck driver, but the electronics repair, that's something that my company needs. So now you can have a little bit better conversation with the service member. So it's like, okay, well, why don't you explain to me like how you hook up the equipment, or why don't you describe to me the different test systems that you use to test your electronics? Do you know how to read blueprints and schematics? Do you know how to do this, that, or the other? Then again, you're going to get a better sense from talking to them what it is that they know how to do. And you can focus in on the, well, my company doesn't need the truck driver or the missile systems, but if you've got electronics experience, there are things that we could definitely, connect you to in terms of roles at our company. The second place I would send you to is the military's own recruiting website. So Patriot Launching Station Enhanced Operator Maintainer, that's an Army job. If you asked him, he would have told you he was Army. And then you can go to goarmy.com, and there's a little menu item right there at the top that says careers. And you type, click on that, and then you can type in whatever that occupational code is or whatever the job title they told you they had. And it will give you in plain English, yay, plain English, a description of what that job entails and the type of equipment that they work with and how much training they receive and what kind of knowledge they need to have in order to perform that job well. And again, that's just going to give you a little bit more of a clue in terms of what this person is able to do. And then you can hone in on the thing that maybe makes the most sense for the types of jobs that you're trying to fill. So if you're listening to all of this and you're thinking, oh my God, this sounds like work. I have to look up stuff and I have to ask questions. If you want to get better at recruiting military, yes, that's what I'm telling you need to do. You will learn far more about a service member's capability by talking to them than you're ever going to find from reading that resume, because the resumes are not awesome, typically. And the resume is not going to tell you everything that you need to know. So you need to ask questions, and you need to dig a little bit deeper. And yes, you need to do a little bit of research. And if you're willing to do that, you're going to find far more gold as you're doing all of this digging than you ever will by just looking at the resume for 6 seconds and moving on. You've missed, I promise you, you have missed so much amazing military talent applying to roles at your company because you're expecting their resume to read like everyone else's is reading, and your applicant tracking system is screening out these resumes that they don't understand. So if you take the time to talk to the service member to learn a little bit more about what their job entails and how they, have different skills and different equipment that they've worked with and things like that, you're going to find more opportunities for them at your company, and that's going to help you improve military recruiting. So with that, that is the end of our question for today on today's Ask the Military Recruiting Expert Monday. Follow the hashtag so you can see all of the other videos that we've posted. And if you have new questions, or if you have more questions on what I've just discussed, drop your comments below so that I can see them. And then I will, I'll answer as many as I can on the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Again, these are 10-minute videos, so I can only get to 1 or 2 questions each time. But I'm happy to answer as many as I can get to over the course of a month. So if this was information that was helpful to you, please share. Use that share button and share it with your colleagues. Let everyone know what value you got out of this. And again, just let me know if you got any value out of this. Give me a thumbs up or heart or clapping hands or whatever you have on your system that you're watching this on, and just let me know if this was helpful to you. Again, with that, this is Lisa Rosser with The Value of a Veteran, and I look forward to seeing you the next time on the next Ask the Military Recruiting Expert Monday. Take care.